Welcome to another Stellaris Console Edition Dev Diary summary video. For anyone who didn't know, Thursday Paradox announced the release date for the Overlord expansion on console. Its release date has been set as March 8th, and this will be completing the 5th expansion pass for Console Edition. This week's Dev Diary covered the 3 new special vassal types that will be introduced in this next update, as well as the 3 new kinds of Enclaves. Now I don't want to waste any of your time, so I'll get right into the meat of this Dev Diary. As I mentioned in the previous video, loyalty will be treated as a currency when it comes to the specialty vassals, and the amount of loyalty you have with the subject or as a subject directly determines your experience gain every month. The direct exchange rate seems to be per point of loyalty, you get 0.1 XP per month. The 3 new specialty types are Prospectorium, Bulwark, and Scholarium. The Prospectorium mainly focuses on acquiring resources for themselves and their Overlord. The Bulwark mainly focuses on the defense of themselves and their Overlord. And this is an important distinction to make, as a Bulwark mostly has modifiers and benefits for defense, not offense. Some of these benefits directly contribute to offense, but is largely a defensive-based vassal type. And the Scholarium focuses on providing cutting-edge research for them and their Overlord. Each specialty vassal type goes through different tiers, increasing to a max tier level of 3. Each tier provides interesting modifiers with bonuses and penalties, as well as new insights into technologies. I will now go over each tier level of all 3 specialty vassals, starting with the Bulwark vassal type. A Bulwark at tier 1 gets a 50% bonus to defensive platform damage and hull points, as well as a 25% decrease in building cost and upkeep, as well as an additional 2 defensive platforms added to the cap, and a 50% bonus to star-based damage and hull points overall. There will also be a 20% penalty to monthly energy, mineral, and food production. They also gain the FTL inhibition technology and can research star holds and planetary shields. Their Overlord will gain a 20% star-based upkeep cost and speed bonus, and if the Overlord relay network connects to the subject's capital, the subject will gain negative 10% crime and plus 5 stability. Finally, friendly ships within the Bulwark system will get a 100% increase in shield points. At tier 2, defense platform bonuses get an added 25% to the defense platform bonus of the previous tier, and an additional 3 defense platforms added to the cap. The star-based modifiers stay the same, however. The resource production penalty increases by a further 15% as well. The Bulwark will be able to research modular engineering and star fortresses, and a very interesting bonus is the fact that admirals will be able to gain 3 unique Bulwark traits. The 3 traits are Bulwark Watcher, which adds 15% evasion and tracking in friendly systems, Bulwark Retaliator, which adds 30% fire rate in friendly systems, and finally Bulwark Sentinel, which adds a 30% increase to shield points in friendly systems. What's really interesting about these traits is if an admiral has one of these, they can be traded to the Overlord. Additionally, all admirals will have their level increased by 1, and their level cap increased by 2. Finally, at tier 3, the bonuses to defense platform damage, hull points, build cost, and upkeep increase by a further 25%, as well as a 25% further increase to star-based damage and hull points. A further 3 defense platforms will be added to the cap, for a grand total of 8 additional defense platforms. The penalty to energy, mineral, and food production will be increased by 15, totaling at a quite substantial 50% decrease across the board. The Bulwark will be able to research the Citadel technology and gain access to the Bulwark Battle Right, adding 0.25% daily hull regen and an added 50% hull points and armor points to friendly ships within their systems. Finally, hostile ships within the Bulwark systems will get a 0.3% decrease in hull regen, and if the Bulwark has completed the Unyielding Tradition Tree, they will get an additional 0.2% hull regen decrease. Now that's it for the Bulwark, and I will be moving on to the Scholarium. At Tier 1, the Scholarium will get a 20% increase to monthly research and an additional research alternative available. The Vassal will have a 30% penalty to naval capacity and an increase of 30% to build cost and upkeep when it comes to ships. Upon unlocking Tier 1, the Vassal will get 2,000 points of research in each field of research. Their Overlord will also get a 10% increase to monthly research, and if their Overlord's relay network is connected to their capital, they will get an outright 10% increase to researcher output. Finally, there will be a 20% increase in the chance of a research cache with planets in their borders. At Tier 2, monthly scientific research will be increased to 30%, and the penalty to naval capacity and military build cost and upkeep will be increased by 10. Upon getting the tier, they will also gain 1,000 research points in every field of research, and scientists can gain one of the following 3 unique Scholarium traits. Scholarium Investigator, which adds 10% to research speed, Scholarium Explorer, which adds 20% to survey speed, and Scholarium Observer, which adds 25% to anomaly research speed and 5% to anomaly discovery chance. Finally, scientist leader levels will increase by 1 across the board, and you will be able to transfer scientists to your Overlord. The scientist level cap will also increase by 2 as well. At Tier 3, monthly scientific research will increase by a further 10%, and the penalty to naval capacity, military ship build cost, and upkeep will increase by a further 10% as well. If the Vassal has already completed the Discovery Tradition Tree, they will get a 1,000 point research cache, and planetary sensors may yield a rare cache adding a random technology to their researchable pool. Any ships piloted within their systems by an AI will get a 25% decrease to accuracy, ship fire rate, and base ship speed. Now that's everything for the Scholarium, and I can finally move on to the Prospectorium. At Tier 1, mining stations will cost 10% less to build, and the monthly production of energy, minerals, alloys, and strategic resources will increase by 10%. However, a 30% decrease to monthly research will already be added at Tier 1. The chance of discovering energy and minerals within their borders every year will also be increased by 20%. Their Overlord will gain a 20% decrease in mining station build cost, and a 20% increase in mining station build speed. If the Overlord's relay network is connected to the subject's capital, the subject will gain a 25% increase to planetary build speed and a 25% decrease to build cost. Tier 2 is a significant upgrade from Tier 1. Mining station build costs decrease by a further 15%, and monthly energy, mineral, alloy, and strategic resource production increases by a further 10%, with a mere 10% decrease in monthly scientific research added. Compared to Tier 1, where you get 30% monthly decrease for the same increase in production as you get at this tier, for only a third of that decrease, this is a significantly better deal. You will also be able to discover alloys, rare crystals, volatile motes, and exotic gases within your borders now as part of the yearly resource discovery chance. They will also have rare crystal mining, mote stabilization, and exotic gas extraction added to their researchable technologies. Their governors will be able to gain one of the following 3 traits: Prospectorium Extractor, granting a 20% increase to energy from jobs; Prospectorium Optimizer, decreasing the upkeep from jobs by 15%, and Prospectorium Refiner, increasing chemist, gas refiners, and transducers output by 25%. All governors will have their level increased by 1, and their level cap increased by 2. Finally, at tier level 3, mining station build costs decrease by a further 25% for a total of 50%, and monthly energy, mineral, alloy, and strategic resource output increases by a further 10%, for a total increase of 30% across the board. The research penalty increases by another 10% as well, for a total of 50% to monthly research. Zro, dark matter, and living metal is added to the resources you can discover within your borders with the resource discovery chance. Zro distillation, dark matter drawing, and living metal will also be added to the researchable technologies. And finally, the vassal will gain access to the planetary decision strip mining, which removes a random agricultural feature and adds a strip mine feature, increasing max mining districts by 2. It is important to remember that while you have these bonuses and penalties through the vassal agreement, you will lose and gain resources. For example, the Prospectorium has a massive penalty to research and a massive bonus to production by default, but they will receive a large amount of research from their overlord and send the overlord a large amount of their resources in exchange. Finally, that's everything regarding the bonuses and penalties of the new vassal types. Just like always, the galactic community can never seem to mind its own business, and there will be 2 new resolution lines added meddling with your vassals. The first line is Intergalactic directives, and the 3 choices you will have will be regulated growth, ensured sovereignty, and a voice for all. Regulated growth adds 0.2 monthly loyalty to subjects, but increases the empire size from systems by 5%. Ensured sovereignty bans integration and bans the ability of vassals to expand. Monthly loyalty change will also be increased by 0.7. The empire size from systems is increased by 15%, and empire size from planets by 5%. And finally, Voice for All improves star bases and defense platforms for bulwarks, improves planetary sensors for Scholariums, and Prospectoriums get an improved chance of discovering resources. As a result, however, overlords will have a reduced ability to control their vassals politically and size-wise. It also grants an additional 1.5 monthly loyalty change and increases empire size from systems by 25% and planets by 15%. The second resolution line, Bureaucratic Surveillance, has 3 choices: Administrative Insight, Borderless Authority, and Personal Oversight. Administrative Insight decreases monthly loyalty change by 0.2 and adds a 25% ethics attraction towards Overlord's fanatic ethics. It's very important that you remember that this is only towards fanatic ethics, so if you don't have a fanatic ethic, this is pointless. Borderless Authority increases the ethics attraction from the previous choice to 50% and requires all vassal agreements to have unified censors. While this does remove the ability to have a holding limit of 4, it adds 1 to the max holding, so having 3 holdings agreed to in an agreement actually grants the ability to build 4. There's also a negative 0.7 monthly loyalty change as a result of this. With Personal Oversight, the subject's ethics attraction is increased to 75%, and independent diplomacy will no longer be allowed. While the holding limit of 3 is no longer allowed, just like the last choice, the max holdings is increased by 2, so having 2 holdings grants the ability to build 4. But this is at the cost of 1.5 monthly loyalty change per month. There will be 3 new types of enclaves added in this update as well. The Salvagers, Shroudwalker, and Mercenary Enclaves will be introduced. Salvagers do exactly what they sound like, and they can scrap fleets for you to get resources or reclaim vessels that have been destroyed. The Shroudwalker Enclave will offer insights into other empires through the Shroud, as well as allow you to build Shroud beacons so that your fleet can travel through the Shroud to get to the Enclave. Be careful though, as there are several things that can happen to your ships and admirals when they travel through the Shroud, so it is a bit of a gamble. Mercenary Enclaves are the first kind of enclave introduced in the game that you can personally build. If you have a fleet of a size 50 or above, you can fly that fleet into a system that you own that has a moon or asteroid, and if you have at least 1 available Mercenary Enclave capacity, you can turn that fleet into a Mercenary Enclave at a small price. Mercenary Enclaves will also pay dividends, which help you recoup your cost. Your Mercenary Enclave capacity starts at 0, but it can be increased through different civics like Warrior Culture, Barbaric Despoiler, or private military companies. The mercenaries will research technologies on their own, as well as reinforce and build up their fleets without your help as a patron. but you can help them if you choose. As a patron, you can ask them to cancel their contracts, and this can be beneficial, especially if the empire they took a contract with is your enemy, but you will have to pay them in exchange, and they won't be very happy about it. There will also be some galactic community resolutions that will interact with mercenary enclaves. You can also purchase ground armies through enclaves, which wasn't mentioned in the dev diary. There is only one dev diary left before the release of Overlord, and it will discuss origins and megastructures that will be coming out with Overlord. This was a very long one, so if you made it this far, good job. If you found this video to be helpful, make sure to press the like button, and if you'd like to stay updated on console releases, make sure to subscribe. Luckily, console is now close enough to PC that I'll be releasing guides that will work for both console edition and the PC edition. So if you'd like to be alerted when those are released, subscribe for that as well. I hope to see you next week.